a collective bargaining agreement reached between the Hooksett School Board and the Hooksett Educational Support Professionals, which calls for the following increase in salaries and benefits at the current staffing levels. Year 2012-13, estimated salary increases $50,429, estimated FICA and retirement increase $8,296, and further to raise and appropriate the sum of $58,725 for the 2012-2013 fiscal year, such sum representing the additional costs attributable to the increase in salaries and benefits required by the new agreement over those that would be paid at current staffing levels in the prior fiscal year, recommended by the school board, recommended by the budget committee. I would entertain a motion to move Article 2 to the official ballot as written.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Cheryl, seconded by Jim. Would you like to speak to the motion?
Yes. Myself and Jim Sullivan are the school board's representatives for the Hooksett Educational Support Professionals bargaining unit. The contract had a reopener this year for a wage increase. We met with the bargaining unit's representatives. There was give and take on both sides and agreed to a 2% increase and a 1% for the pool for a pool to address inequities in hourly rates. The $58,725 cost of this contract agreement reflects wages, the FICA, and retirement changes for approximately 100 employees.
Thank you.
I would like to also add that this is, other than the numbers, the percentages of increase, the 2% and the 1% wage pool was exactly the same proposed last year, and that was approved by the voters.
Would anyone like to speak to this?
Yes, I do. Thank you, Madam Moderator. I just want to add a clarification, perhaps that maybe wasn't mentioned, that the support professionals that are on this warrant article, that my understanding are anyone but teachers and principals and higher level officials. These are nurses, guidance counselors, maintenance staff. If you could clarify that, no, please do.
Yes. Perfect.
That is incorrect.
Okay, so what would that encompass? My point was that it's not the paraprofessionals, right?
I'm sorry, can you repeat your question?
Well, my understanding of it, it's not the paraprofessionals.
It is the paraprofessionals,
It is the paraprofessionals.
secretaries, custodians,
Thank you.
food service workers.
Anyone else?
Jimmy Shaw, on Wall Road. I should have asked this on the first question, but I'll ask it on this as well as the prior. What is the estimated tax rate impact, and if you know, and then what does that mean to an average assessed home in Hooksett, which you may not know?
I have that information. On Article, it's 0.04 cents on, or 4 cents, excuse me, on the tax rate. Article 3, you'd like to know what Article 2 on the teacher's contract, it's 0.15. 15 cents, yes ma'am.
And as far as what that might follow, as what that might mean to the average assessed home, I don't know if that was even brought up in the budget committee discussion.
Well, we used to use 100,000, but that's not used anymore, and I'm not sure. So it depends on. So if you go 200,000 times 4 cents is what? $8.
Last question. What was the budget committee vote on both of these articles?
Most of these warrant articles were approved by the budget committee, roughly 9-1 or 8-2 on most of these articles. The only one that is number 7, which we had a little closer vote on, 5-5.
Anyone else? Questions, comments? Okay, seeing none. Article 3 moves to the ballot as written. Article 4, shall the district vote to raise and appropriate as an operating budget, not including appropriations by special warrant articles and other appropriations voted separately, the amount set forth on the budget posted with the warrant, or as amended by vote of the first session, for the purpose set forth therein totaling $26,898,549. Should this article be defeated The default budget shall be $27,636,986, which is the same as last year, with certain adjustments required by previous action of the Hooksett School District or by law, or the governing body may hold one special meeting in accordance with RSA 40:13, Roman 10 and Roman 16, to take up the issue of a revised operating budget only. This article does not include appropriations in any other warrant articles recommended by the school board, recommended by the budget committee. I would entertain a motion to move Article 4 as written to the ballot. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I second.
Ms. Trish?
Thank you. If I may go a little bit over 3 minutes because of the amount, that certainly is necessary to comment. Mr. Argo is our budget rep. I am filling in, so he would be a little bit more fluent in what was discussed actually at each meeting, even though he keeps us posted at each meeting, so I will fill you in. First of all, I'd like to thank all those involved in the year's budget process. On the whole, the process was successful, with each board and individual acting with due diligence in performing their duties. There are many questions posed, many answers given, much debate, and some disagreement. Each year, the process gets better, and it's our hope that any lingering issues remaining from this year will be addressed, and next year the communication will improve even more than it has in the last, as we proceed. With that, I'd like to give you some background on the steps that were taken that allowed us to get to this figure. Each school administration, in conjunction with the teachers and staff, start by formulating the budget with a basic principle, which I believe is, and they believe is need versus want. And that principle, I believe, is carried out each step of the way. After being reviewed by the superintendent and his staff, those cuts were applied at $270,945. After hearing presentations from the principals and administrations during many meetings in a all-day session, the school board took additional action. We made an additional $298,808 in cuts. Some of those were some technology equipment, health insurance, half-time kindergarten aid, and items like that. Also in the budget, we considered 3 positions. One position is not actually a new position, but it required funding from the local district, and that is the language art coordinator. That language art coordinator was funded through 2 years of federal stimulus funds. Unfortunately, those funds are no longer available, so in order to maintain this important role, this position, it would be up to the school district to provide that. And based on the 2 years of action by this person, this position, we have received good results. The other 2 positions actually happen to be 2 teachers, one for 7th and 8th grade. These would allow for the district to have two teams of 4, which would allow each core subject to be taught by the expert in that field. Currently, there are some teams of 3 where it's requiring a teacher who is certified in, say, math, and I may be, is required to teach social studies. So this will, and they're doing a fine job, but we want, as a comparison, you're going to have heart surgery, you're going to go to a heart surgeon, you're not going to go to a general practitioner. Both are certainly able, but we want the experts, so those children can receive, for example, social studies is the position that tends to be taught by someone else who is not necessarily a social studies certified teacher. Okay, with that said, the process went on to the budget committee, and they took on their role, as I said, with due diligence, diligently when asked questions and so forth, and they felt an additional $854,643 dollars in cuts were correct, and those are broken down by the two, and that's why I mentioned those three positions. The two social studies teacher, the language arts teacher, technology equipment of $40,000, and a high school tuition cut of $572,000. It was there where the school board and the budget committees have a little difference of opinion. We believe that $854,643 cuts may not be something that we could accept. And you want to look at page 10 and 11 in your book, and that actually breaks down everything according to particular items, regular education and so forth, and also reflects on page 11 what is considered non-discretionary and what is considered discretionary. So if you look at page 11, 90, which is the second column over, 95.55% of this budget is non-discretionary, which leaves 4.45% of items that are considered discretionary. What prompted the difference between the school board and the proposed budget here were ultimately three budget drivers. Those were increase in New Hampshire retirement of $165,209 and regular high school tuition. There's currently, based on how we calculate the numbers who attend public high school, there's going to be 44 additional students over currently. So what we do is we take the students that are currently attending public high schools, subtract the number of students who are graduating, and then add the number of students who are leaving 8th grade to go to the public high school. And thus, there's 44 more students that we have to pay tuition, which we're obligated because we're required to provide that education. So, just to clarify, one of the reasons I believe, and I clarify, hopefully it will be clarified, is one of the concerns from the budget committee is the amount of general funds that are left at the end of the year. And that has been actually something that has occurred many years, at least 12 years as I've been, there's always been a fund balance. And actually, I was going to bring it in, going back to an 1854 town report, actually there was fund balance back then, so it's not something new where we see fund balance. We wanted to know, just like the budget committee, why there was general fund balance left in the high school tuition, which tends to be the area which has the remaining balance. So we looked at a 5-year average, and we looked at last year, well, the administration, thanks to the administration, they looked at last year, and we found out of the students that are obligated based on that calculation, that last year, or the year before that, 87% of the students who would be going to high school would be going to high school. So that leaves the balance because instead of 100%, we have 87. So as we presented, he said, wow, that's a good trade. So we looked at the year before that, but at that point, based on our calculations, there was actually 100% plus 1 students attending. So that went to the opposite. So in that year, there was really no balance left in that line. So we looked at a percentage over the 5 years of 92%, which tends to go to the public high school. So, with that, if we calculate what 92% of the budget of the line item, which is on number 10, page 10, which is the second column down, $5,907,155. If you take 92% of that, that results in where we could find a savings of $472,500.